He woke up in someone else's body. True horror story. What if you woke up tomorrow and the face in the mirror wasn't yours? What if your voice belonged to a stranger and a family you've never met calls you Dad? This isn't a nightmare someone can wake from. This is the real-life horror of one man who opened his eyes in a body that wasn't his, while someone else lived freely in the life he once knew. And there's no way to switch back without blood. The reflection that lied. Ethan Turner always feared the idea of losing control of his mind, his identity, his memory. But he never imagined he would lose his entire existence in the span of one night. He awoke abruptly, the sound of his own heartbeat pounding like a drum inside his skull. The room around him spun as consciousness settled in. The ceiling above looked unfamiliar, smooth, white, without the cracks and discoloration he'd memorized over years. He blinked rapidly, confusion crawling across his expression. Where was he? Soft sheets brushed against his skin, far more expensive than the rough cotton bedding he owned. The mattress beneath him was thick and luxurious, something from a showroom he would never afford. A faint scent of lavender lingered in the air, mixed with traces of new paint and polished wood. His breath caught. He sat upright. This wasn't his apartment. This wasn't his room. He looked down at his own body, or what should have been his. His chest was broader, his arms more muscular, his skin slightly tanned instead of pale. His hands, bigger, with clean, polished nails and a ring hugging his left finger. His heart hammered harder. That wasn't his ring. Panic slowly built, then surged as he swung his legs over the bed. The cold floor sent chills up his spine. He stumbled toward a large mirror mounted on a wardrobe door. Each step felt wrong, like his muscles responded before he commanded them. And then he saw it. Not him. The reflection showed a tall, dark-haired stranger with a chiseled jawline and deep-set eyes. The man's face looked like a model from a magazine ad, handsome, confident. But Ethan felt none of that. Only terror. He raised his hand. The reflection matched. He touched his face. The reflection followed. His legs weakened, forcing him to hold onto the dresser for support. What? His voice came out deeper, harder. That wasn't his voice. Cold sweat dripped down his temple as he scrambled around the room, his breathing shallow and frantic. Family photos decorated the walls, pictures of the same man he'd just seen in the mirror. In one, the stranger stood smiling next to a beautiful woman holding two young children. A perfect family. A perfect life. A life Ethan had never seen before today. Before he could process the horror, light footsteps approached. The bedroom door burst open, and a little girl ran toward him with excitement lighting up her face. "Daddy!" she squealed. Ethan froze. She leaped into his arms, arms that weren't his, and clung to him tightly. Her hair smelled of strawberries and children's shampoo. But he couldn't move. He couldn't speak. His heart was shattering because somewhere out there, his own mother might be calling his real name, and someone else might be answering. The girl pulled back just enough to see his expression. Confusion spread across her tiny features. "Daddy? Why are you looking at me like that?" Ethan swallowed, but words refused to form. His throat felt like it was closing. He gently set her down, stepping back in fear. "Don't." The sentence died before it escaped fully. The girl's smile vanished. Her eyes welled up with concern, not fear. "Did you have a bad dream? A nightmare?" He wished that were true. Before he could answer, a phone on the nightstand buzzed violently. He turned toward the screen. His breath caught when he saw the caller ID. 7 missed calls. His mom. His real mom. The only person who would have that name stored exactly like that. He grabbed the phone with trembling hands. His thumb hovered over the screen. Should he answer? What if she thought he was the man whose body he now possessed? What if someone else, someone dangerous, was living inside his body right now? His stomach twisted. His vision blurred. When he finally accepted the call, a female voice, not his mother's, spoke softly behind him. "Alex? Is everything okay?" Ethan spun around. The beautiful woman from the photographs stood in the doorway, wearing a silk robe. Her face was filled with love, meant for someone else. Alex. That must be this body's name. She took a careful step closer, sensing his distress. "You're shaking," she whispered. He didn't know what to say. She reached out to touch his arm. The moment her fingers brushed his skin, a sudden, sharp pain stabbed through his skull, violent images flashing inside his mind like lightning. His own body, lying motionless on a different bed. Doctors rushing. Machines screaming. His hands, gripping someone else's throat. A sinister laugh coming from his own mouth that wasn't his. He screamed. The woman gasped and stumbled back, horrified. Ethan dropped the phone, clutching his head as the visions faded. His pulse thrashed like it was trying to escape his veins. He wasn't inside this body by accident. Someone had traded places with him. Someone who didn't deserve his life. He ran to the mirror again. The stranger's face stared back, but beneath the reflection's eyes, he thought he saw something else. A flicker. A shadow. Like something inside this body was still alive. Still watching. Still waiting. He gripped the sink, bones trembling beneath unfamiliar skin. His voice shattered into a whisper. "I want my life back." But the mirror showed no mercy. It showed him trapped. And somewhere out there, the man who stole his life was living it. The life that was stolen. Ethan's breathing steadied only slightly as he forced himself to step away from the mirror. The woman, Alex's wife, was still staring at him, confusion and worry tangled in her expression. Her name surfaced in his mind like a memory that didn't belong to him. Sophie. It echoed through his thoughts like someone had whispered it into his skull. She took another step toward him, cautious. "Alex, what's happening?" Alex. That was the name everyone would expect him to respond to now. The name of a man whose life had seemingly replaced his own. Ethan forced a breath, trying to mimic calmness. He nodded stiffly, mumbling something about dizziness and not feeling like himself. Sophie's concern deepened, but she reluctantly believed him. She left the room to get the kids ready for school, leaving Ethan alone again with the phone still buzzing on the floor. When he bent to pick it up, the screen lit with another incoming call. His pulse raced. He stepped away to a quiet corner and answered. But instead of his mother's voice, a low, distorted whisper hissed through the line. "I like your life." Ethan's blood froze. He stood perfectly still, unable to breathe, unable to move. The whisper deepened, turning into a voice that sounded like his own, but wrong. "You took his life from me, so I took yours." Then the call cut. His knees nearly gave out. The phone slipped from his shaking fingers. Someone had stolen his identity, completely. And whatever was inside his body wasn't human anymore. Once Sophie and the children left the house, Ethan began searching the place, desperation fueling every movement. In Alex's office, he found closed boxes labeled with dates from the past year. Receipts. Documents. Nothing unusual. Then a small locked drawer. He yanked it open with pure instinct and found a notebook with messy scribbles covering every page. Disturbing drawings of bodies with hollow faces. Notes about voices. Reflections that moved on their own. The name Ethan Turner scrawled repeatedly with rage-driven strokes. He flipped to the last entry. "He deserves what's coming. The demon in the mirror promised me a new life. One better than his." His heart dropped. Alex had met something and traded lives. Ethan read on, horrified. "Tonight, when he falls asleep, I will switch places. I will wake up free. And he will wake up with me." The words were written on the same date Ethan switched bodies. His vision wavered. Alex did this. Alex chose this. Suddenly, the bedroom mirror felt like it was staring at him again, like something inside it was smiling. Ethan needed to find his real body. To confront the thing inside it. Using Alex's phone, he tracked his real mother's address. She lived just 30 minutes away, close enough for him to be there before Sophie returned. He grabbed car keys from a bowl by the door and rushed outside. The vehicle responded to him automatically, modern and sleek, like everything else Alex owned. As he drove, his mind spun with horror and questions. How could he explain any of this? How could he prove who he was? But when he arrived, all logic shattered the moment he stepped inside. His mother was sitting in the living room. Tears soaked her face. A doctor stood near his real body, Ethan's body, strapped to a gurney, muscles twitching violently under restraining straps. His own face twisted into a horrifying grin as the eyes snapped open, dark, bottomless pits where his gentle gaze once existed. The doctor flinched away. Ethan watched his own mouth curl into a smile that wasn't his. The demon inside his body whispered, "There you are." Ethan stepped backward, terror crushing him. His mother turned and froze, seeing a stranger at the door. "Alex? What are you doing here?" Her fear was directed at him. He wanted to scream, "It's me, Mom," but the words jammed in his throat. The demon laughed at his silence. The doctor attempted to inject a sedative into Ethan's body, but the demon's strength was monstrous. He broke free of restraints like they were thread and threw the doctor to the floor. Ethan reacted without thinking, rushing forward to protect his mother. But the demon knew him. It anticipated the attack, meeting him with a punch that sent him crashing into the wall. Pain shattered through ribs that weren't his. "You stole my fate," the demon growled through Ethan's voice. "I deserve this life more than you. You wasted it." His mother screamed, her voice breaking. Ethan struggled to stand. "Give it back," he managed, voice cracked. "Give me my life." The demon stepped closer, his Ethan's eyes glowing like burning ink. "This body fits me now," it whispered, "and I'll bury the memory of you inside it." He lunged, sharp and lethal. But Ethan grabbed the fallen doctor's syringe, forcing it into his own arm, the demon's arm, and pushed every drop of sedative in. The demon staggered, roaring in fury as his stolen limbs weakened. Ethan acted fast, grabbing a large framed photo from a table and smashing it over the demon's head. Shards scattered as the monster collapsed to the floor. His mother sobbed, terrified and confused. She didn't understand, she couldn't. Ethan knelt beside his real body, tears sliding from a face that wasn't his. "I'm sorry," he whispered, barely audible. He traced trembling fingers along the skin that once belonged to him. His chest ached with a grief deeper than anything he'd ever felt. Then the demon's hand shot up, grabbing Ethan's wrist with supernatural speed. "Don't think this is over," it hissed as the sedative dragged him unconscious. Terrified paramedics arrived to restrain the demon again. Doctors worked to stabilize him. His mother clung to Ethan's shoulders, thanking him for saving her son, unaware that the stranger she held was the child she was praying for. Ethan couldn't stay. Not like this. He left before she could ask him who he really was. Before he shattered her heart with the truth. Hours passed as Ethan sat alone in Alex's car, staring at his stolen hands trembling in the cold night air. He was trapped. A ghost inside someone else's existence. A prisoner wearing a stranger's skin. And the worst part? The demon wasn't defeated. It was only getting stronger inside his body. Its final words echoed like poison. "I'll come for everything you love." Ethan swore to himself in that moment. He would spend his new life fighting to reclaim the old one. Even if it meant becoming a monster to destroy the monster that stole him. Because sometimes the scariest horror isn't death. It's being alive in the wrong life. Ethan didn't die that night. He didn't win either. Every morning he wakes up in a body that reminds him he no longer exists. Every night he dreams of the demon using his name, his face, his life. And every breath he takes is a battle against the truth. What's his now was never meant to be. The switch is permanent, unless he finds a way to kill the thing that wears his skin.